Hi everybody, we are going to do lesson 7-15 today, and that is called Factoring Completely. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it means that we're going to have to factor twice for each problem, okay? The first way we can do this is if we find a GCF and then we have two terms left over, then we're going to do difference of perfect squares, okay? Now, if we have three terms left over, we're going to do the X method, and it might have the eyeglass theory in it too. So we'll go back to that and, I'll remind you of what that is. So here's my first example so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. 2x squared minus 8. All right, so first thing we're going to do is find a GCF. Our GCF is a 2. So I'm going to put a 2 here. I'm going to try. I'm going to put a 2 on the outside of a parentheses, and what's going to be left over is x squared minus 4. Okay, now if you look at that x squared minus 4, what's in the parentheses, that is the difference of two perfect squares, or the difference of perfect squares. So we have to use that method of factoring to break down that x squared minus 4. Plus, first I'm going to bring down the 2. Now, double bubble, difference of perfect squares. You have an x and an x in the front, and then 2 times 2 is 4 with a plus and a minus here. Okay, that's it. You box it. So you see we did GCF, and then here we did DOPS to get the final answer. Okay? All right, let me try another one, or show you another one. Number 2. Let's do 4x to the third power minus 16x. All right, so first thing we're going to do is look for the GCF. So my GCF here is, I definitely see a 4 that can come out. 16 is divided by 4, and so is 4. I also have an x that I can take out of each of these terms. So I'm going to divide by x and x here. So my GCF is 4x. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to write a 4x, and then I'm going to write one set of parentheses. When you're doing GCF, you only have one set of parentheses to start. Now you divide by the 4's out, and this is x to the third divided by x, which is going to leave you with an x squared. So x squared goes in here. Minus 16 divided by 4 is 4. These x's are going to cancel each other out, so it's x squared. Oh, look at that. It's x squared minus 4. Well, I know that x squared minus 4 is the difference of perfect squares. X squared is a perfect square, and so is 4. And I also know it because in example number 1, it was x squared minus 4. So it's the same. I didn't mean to do that, but... All right, so 4x, double bubble for the difference of perfect squares. So DOPS here. We have x times x is x squared. We have 2 times 2 is 4, but we want a positive 2 and a negative 2. And therefore, our final answer is 4x times x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay, it's not too bad. Gets a little worse, but it's not too bad. Okay, next one, number 3. I'm just going to move this down. Number 3 is 4x squared minus 4x minus 48. Okay, in this case, I see that my GCF is 4. It's the smallest number there, and every other number is, or coefficient or constant, is divisible by 4. I'm going to bring my 4 out. What's left over after I divide by 4 is going to be x squared minus x. You can put a 1x if you like. Minus 48 divided by 4 is 12. Okay? Now, this is 3 terms. So if you remember, I'm going to go back up here. 3 terms, we're definitely going to use an x. Okay? Definitely have to use an x, and then we'll check if we have the eyeglasses or not. So, there is no number in front of this x squared, so we just have to take the last number and put it in the top, the middle number and put it in the bottom, And this number out here, 4, we're just going to bring it down here. This is going to be part of our answer, but it's not part of our work, and we've already taken care of that. So we're going to double bubble. We have x times x is x squared, and then we have, well, we have to figure out these numbers. 1 times 12, no. 2 times 6, no. 3 times 4, yes. 4 minus 3 is 1. We want a negative 1, so we're going to change the signs. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. And negative 4 and 3. And negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. So it's going to be minus 4 plus 3. Okay? All right, so now you have to remember you had this 4 out here. So let's write our final answer. It's 4 parentheses x minus 4, x plus 3. Put a box. Move on to the next one. Okay, I'm going to roll down here again. One more. Number 4. Number 4 is 6x squared plus 8x minus 30. Okay, so it is a trinomial. We are going to use that x method, but first we have to find our GCF. So GCF, 6, 8, and 30. I know 6 doesn't go into 8, but I know they're all even numbers. So 2 goes into each of them. 3 goes into 6, but it doesn't go into 8. 4 goes into 8, but it doesn't go into 6. So let's do 2. All right, so we divide out a 2. What we're left with on the inside is 3x squared plus 4x minus 15. Okay, so let's do this. Oh, sorry, your GCF was 2. Now we look on the inside and we see we have a 3 in the front, so we have to do that eyeglass theory to get the x going, okay? So your x is going to have a top number of negative 45, okay? Your bottom number is just going to be this middle number, so it's 4. So we're doing 3 times negative 15 to get the negative 45 at the top and put the 4 in the bottom like we always do. We need factors of negative 45. So let's just start with that. 1 times 45. 2 doesn't go in. 3 times 15. 4 doesn't go in. 5 times 9. Oh, 5 times 9 is 45. We need a negative, so it's 9 minus 4. I'm sorry, that's a 5. 9 minus 5 equals the 4. So it's going to be a 9 and a negative 5. Okay? So, I don't know if you remember this from a couple of lessons ago. We're going to bring the 2 down like we did last time. When we have this eyeglass theory, we have a longer process here. We have to bring down the 3x squared in the beginning and the minus 15 at the end. Then we're going to rewrite this 4x as 9x minus 4x. Okay? 9x minus, I did it again, minus 5x. My bad. All right, 9x minus 5x is 4x. Now we have to do our GCF, okay? Or by grouping, I'm sorry. We're going to group and then we're going to do GCF. So what can I take out of this 3x squared and the 9x? Well, I can take a 3x out. 3x, that's my GCF. So 3x comes out, and what's left over is an x plus 3. All right, now on the second one, I can take out a negative 5. Remember, we take out the negative if it's a negative. So it's going to be negative 5 comes out because negative 5 is divisible by negative 5, and negative 15 is divisible by negative 5. So we're dividing by negative 5 on both terms here. The 5s cancel out. We have an x left over. Here we have a negative divided by a negative, which is a positive, and 15 divided by 5, which is a 3. All right, so now we have a common factor of x plus 3. When I get those guys going, I have what's left over, which is 3x minus 5. So now this is my whole answer. So if you remember, the 2 came from way up there. That was our first GCF. And that is the lesson for today. I am going to give you some practice problems, and you can work on those just a minute. Okay, here are your 4 problems. So try those out. Do the best you can. And when you come back, I'll, hit pause, obviously. When you come back, I'll have answers up. You can check your answers. Okay, everybody, I'm back with answers. Check your answers. If you got something wrong, try to see where it is that you went wrong. If you have questions, come online at 11 to 11:30 any weekday. I'll have the link to the Zoom or whatever I'm using on the top of the stream on your Google Classroom. All right, have a great day, everybody.